Hello and welcome to the Main Street Matters webinar. My name is Patrick Kaiser. I'm the Executive Director of Heart on Main Street. Heart on Main Street is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping independent retailers thrive. This is a monthly webinar series for the independent retail community to provide pertinent information to retailers and tips about how to grow your business. Our guest today is Bob Negen, the founder of WhizBang Retail Training. And Bob is here to talk to us about hiring for retail positions. Bob, thank you so much for joining today.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much. I'm always honored to work with your community, and I'm all here for the independent retailer. So this is
Excellent.
great. I'm happy for the opportunity. Honored.
Love to hear it. Bob, along with his wife Susan, founded WhizBang Retail Training in 1999 after 2 decades in the retail industry, building their businesses from the ground up. He has really been there and done that. He is, as a best-selling author, speaker, and consultant, he has worked with thousands of retailers all across the country in order to help retailers grow their business and achieve their goals. So Bob, thank you very much for everything that you've done for the retail community and for being here on the Main Street Matters webinar today. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
So Bob, again, I'm very excited to have you on today. I know our audience is going to learn a whole lot from you. In a recent survey that we did with about 500 retail customers, we found the #1 thing that retailers were needing right now was help within the retail store. So this topic is very pertinent, very on trend, and really needed for our retail community. So to begin, I kind of wanted to address the elephant in the topic. Are people not wanting to work in retail right now, or is something else going on?
Yeah, well, Patrick, it's a great question, and the short answer is something else is going on. So let's go and let's take a look at something really important. So the last time I had this conversation, I walked up and down our main street here, Washington Avenue, which is 3 blocks long, which has about 50 or 60 retail and restaurant, establishments. And if you think about it, let's use the number 50. And let's just say they all have, on average, 5 employees. I know, the retail business that I started, the Mackinac Kite Company, has about 10. Restaurants have a lot more. Some of them are just, single person shops. Yeah. But let's just say 5. What that means is that there's 250 people on this street that are working. So whenever I hear people saying, well, nobody wants to work, or I can't get anybody to work, what it says to me is that no, you just haven't learned how to attract the right people, how to hire them intelligently, how to recruit skillfully so you get a big pool. Recruiting is getting more people applying and better people applying, and then interviewing them skillfully so the people who have applied, you pick the best ones, and then you create a culture where they want to stay, where they're enthusiastic about, pulling for your vision, where they're enthusiastic about giving your customers the service they deserve when they're in your store. So really what I believe is that the belief that nobody wants to work is an incorrect belief. And that's the first step, is to make this shift from nobody wants to work or nobody shows up for interviews, sort of taking the responsibility away from yourself and saying, wait a second, there's a lot of great people out there. I'm going to find a way to get them. And Patty Zeller said, hi, Bob, in the chat earlier, and I'm going to highlight a Red Hot Help Wanted ad. And actually, Patty is the poster child. In fact, if you're watching this live tomorrow, on Wednesday, I'm interviewing Patty live on Facebook on our WhizBang Retail Training Facebook page about this.
Welcome, Patty.
But several months ago, Patty came to me and said, she was doing the whole Chicken Little, the sky is falling, what you just referred to. And, somebody had just stolen her manager, a big national chain, yada, yada, yada. And so we walked it back and we talked about one, the mindset, two, the skill set, and really the problem's been solved. And one of the things I'm going to share today is the Red Hot Help Wanted ad that Patty took. Red Hot Help Wanted ad is the format that we use, and then used AI to juice it for her avatar. And it's, you know, she's just having great success filling her team with highest quality people. Before, she was crying the blues, but before it was that problem, she has solved that problem. And for everybody who's watching, that's what I want to say, is that it's really about mindset and skill set. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love the incorporation of AI into building the Red Hot Wanted ad, and being able to find what you're looking for and being able to generate those right words and the right ideas to
Sure.
attract right people.
So let's do this, Patrick. I'll just sort of take it away. And if
Please.
you have any questions, raise your hand. Indy will jump in. And that way, you see, because Patrick, if I watch you, I'm going to be looking off screen, and I'd rather look at the people who are here. Does that make sense? So let's talk about that. So with all retail skills, and in order to, and life in general, it really is that idea of mindset, skill set, structure, that you have to think about the problem accurately, that you have to approach it with positivity, that you have to have a can-do attitude towards it, and then you have to develop the skills to solve the problem. So when we talk about recruiting, because the first step in solving this problem is to be a skillful recruiter, as I just mentioned. What is recruiting? Recruiting is getting people to apply. As I said earlier, good recruiting is getting more people applying and better people applying. So the mindset, the first mindset is this idea of that there are lots and lots of good people. They just haven't found you yet. Or more accurately, you haven't put yourself in front of them in a compelling way yet. And that whole yet is the whole thing, right? Yet. So that's the first thing, is to have that belief that they are there and that you're going to go get them. And that once you get them, they're going to stay with you and it's going to be all good. That's the first thing. But the second mindset thing, and if you're watching this and you're an independent retailer, this doesn't just apply to recruiting. This applies to your entire business life. And I would even go so far as to say it applies to your life in general. But there's this idea that every problem that you have in your business points to the need to develop a skill. Say that again. Every problem points to a need to develop a skill. So when you become frustrated, don't get furious, get curious, right? Don't be frustrated, mad, just become very analytical. What is the skill that I need to develop? So if you're frustrated that you don't have a high quality team yet, the skill starts with recruiting. Because remember, mindset, skill set. The mindset, number one, is the belief. Number two is that shift from it's a problem. I'm going to learn the skill that solves the problem. And then the problem is going to go away. It's never going to go away completely, but once you know how to deal with it, it's not really a problem anymore. So Patty Zeller right now, if somebody quits, she now knows how to recruit. She will be able to find new people. If you don't have the skill, you always have the frustration. So the skill set for recruiting is developing this thing that we created when I was in retail called a Red Hot Help Wanted ad. You see, here's why most people don't get good applicants. It's because they do what I did. So here's the Bob Negen recruiting process before I understood a Red Hot Help Wanted ad. So if somebody quit on a Thursday and I needed floor coverage on a Saturday, I would put an orange and black sign in the window. And what was that orange and black sign say? You know, it said help wanted. And the first person who came into my store, I would put a mirror under their nose. And if they fogged it up, it meant that they were alive. And if they were alive, it meant that they were hired. And if they showed up 2 weeks in a row, every day on time, what happened? They became the assistant manager, right? So, I mean, it's not hire and hope. And so Susan came to work with me, long story, but Susan was a department store executive before we met. And she came to work for my very entrepreneurial retail business. And we were growing incredibly quickly. And we needed to find a vice president of stores. And we Susan developed this format, which has since been tweaked and expanded and polished and buffed up and all those things. And I'm going to share it with you in just a second. And we put this in the Grand Rapids Press in a newspaper. And the guy who came to work for us was the youngest store manager in Best Buy history. He was a true retail superstar. He took a $40,000 a year pay cut to come work for us. Why? Because here's the essential truth. Your red hot help wanted ad is a marketing piece for your business. You see, what you're trying to do is to attract the people you want working for you and distract the people who are not a good fit for you. You see, if you're just putting a mirror under somebody's nose and hiring the first person who comes in, the probability that you get somebody good is really low. But if you recruit skillfully, if you use a red hot help wanted ad, if you create a good one, distribute it widely, you will get good people. I guarantee it. And I don't know if Patty's chiming in on chat here, but I think she would affirm that. I don't even know if she even stayed on the call, so I can't speak to it. But anyway, so the skill set is the red hot help wanted ad. So the very first step in this process, and you'll see it comes back around. This is the thread that runs through your whole recruiting, interviewing, hiring, training process, is you have to figure out what your best employees look like. So the very first thing you do before you even start writing your red hot help wanted ad is you sit down and you write a list of characteristics. What does your next superstar look like? What characteristics do they present? You know, the famous motivational speaker Zig Ziglar once talked about the difference between vague generality and meaningful specifics. And I'm looking for a sales associate who can work weekends and nights is very, very vague. I'm looking for somebody who boom, 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 boom is this kind of person. Those are meaningful specifics. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share with you a couple of red hot help wanted ads. The first one I'm going to share with you is, and I'm doing this very intentionally, it is not a retail specific red hot help wanted ad. It is a red hot help wanted ad that Susan and a couple people on our team created to find an assistant for me. Now, why aren't I sharing a retail specific red hot help wanted ad first? Because I want you to think about the format, not evaluate the particular ad. And the second reason I'm sharing this with you is whenever I share this ad, people go, oh, that's me. I could use that too. I could use that too. So this may be something that inspires you to hire an assistant for yourself. You may be at that place in your business. So Indy, can you put up the first slide, please? So again, I didn't write this. But when you look at the format, the headline is the position. So in this case, it's an executive assistant for the founding entrepreneur. I am the founding entrepreneur, by the way. So then there's always a subhead that starts to sell it a little bit. Now, think about this. So I learned copywriting from Randy Gage, and Randy Gage is a world-class copywriter. And when Randy taught us how to write copy, he used the metaphor of the bucket brigade. You know, before there were fire trucks, if there was a fire, everybody in town would get together and they would go from the river or the lake or the source of water, and they would pass the bucket all the way back and forth. So there'd be a whole string of people, they'd pass the bucket and the last person put it on the fire. The thing about a bucket brigade is the minute you break the line, the minute somebody stops, or the minute a bucket can't get past a particular person, the fire rages. So the name of the game is to always build your red hot help wanted ad so that people keep reading. After they read the headline, they should go, oh, that's good. And they should read the second one. And they should go, oh, that's good. They should read the third one. They should go, oh, that's me. So just keep this in mind. Look at the flow. So the subhead is a fantastic part-time position helping a charismatic, engaged entrepreneurs. I don't know about that, with lots of ideas to wrangle. I do know about that, his schedule, advanced projects, transfer thoughts into action. So do you see it's a description. It tells a little bit about the job, but at a very broad, vague level. But then here comes the rest of the format. The first part is if you are. This is where your characteristics come in. Remember we talked about this? I shared that what you're trying to do is attract the right person. So what Susan and Aubrey did was they said, what does Bob's assistant, what characteristics should he or she possess? And eager to help me, wonderful entrepreneur, realize my vision, an excellent communicator, able to assess and prioritize tasks, highly organized, tech savvy, customer focused, passionate, positive, and enthusiastic, self-confident and self-assured. You see, they thought through the position. So many times when you create a help wanted ad, a not so red hot help wanted ad, it doesn't do anything to attract the right person. So do you see, by putting down these characteristics, the people who that resonates with, the people go, oh, that's me, then they're going to read farther. Now, something else that this is part of, sort of new to the format, is this parenthetical piece. And I think that this is it adds personality, and it really does juice the red hot help wanted, makes it more conversational, gives you a chance to be fun and funny and show some personality. And it really does amplify the message. I'll just share one here. Highly organized, accurate, and detail oriented. This is so true. You might even color code your sock drawer, right? That's sort of a funny aside for that particular characteristic. And by the way, so my assistant Kay, I don't know if she color codes her sock drawer, but every single thing on that list, she fits to a T. This is important. If you are ... then bullet points. Now, can I see the next one, Indy? The next part of the format, and would love to ... and then the bullet points kind of describe what the job is, what they're going to do. Because, so for instance, if you are so Patty, for instance, has a pet store. So if you love manhandling big bags of dog food, so you give the person reading the red hot help wanted ad an idea of what the job entails. So represent the company in the most positive professional manner, keep my inbox organized and up to date, truly a thing of beauty, manage my tasks, manage travel schedules, all of these things. So not only if you are, but if you are this kind of person and would love to do these kind of things, then, next slide, please, then we offer. And that is where you sit down, and this is one of the things that I would do is I would say, what do we offer? And if you can't come up with a great bullet point list of why people should want to work with you, just ask your best employee, why do you like working here? If they say, well, I don't really like working here, you got a different problem. But if they, what they'll probably say is things like, oh, I love, there's a family attitude. I love, I love seeing all the new stuff. I love getting a discount on all the stuff. But ask people, don't sell yourself short. This is where you have the opportunity. No, you have the obligation to brag about your business. This is where you're saying, hey, if this is you and you would love to, this is why you want to come work for us. So can I see the final slide, Indy? So those are the three main parts of the body. And then the final two parts of the format is a description of your company. And then this is really important. There needs to be a CTA. A CTA is a call to action. And you want to tell people exactly what you want them to do. Because if you don't tell them exactly what you want them to do, you'd be amazed at how many people will just not do anything. So do you want them to send a resume? That's what we did here. Send a resume to Susan. So, and that is the essence of the format. Now, here's something that I would like to offer you. I'm looking at the clock and I know that there's going to be some questions, or I would anticipate some questions. So I have another Red Hot Help Wanted ad that was written by our friend Mark Turnbull. And Mark is a member of our Platinum Mastermind group. And Mark is a sixth-generation butcher. Isn't that amazing? Sixth-generation butcher in Alnwick in the UK. And he was having a hard time finding, butchers. And so, and people to work in his butcher shop, in his food hall, his big giant food hall. And so he wrote that ad. And while we don't have time to go through another Red Hot Help Wanted ad, if you want copies of our Red Hot Help Wanted ad, email me, bob.negen, Negen. Can you put it in chat, Indy? bob.negen at whizbangtraining.com, and we will send that to you. So, so now the first step in the process is to write a Red Hot Help Wanted ad. Then you need to distribute it. So when people come and I hear people complaining about not getting enough applicants, and I start to dig a little farther, typically it's because they write a bad ad and put it on Indeed, right? So a bad ad on Indeed is almost a surefire recipe for, I wouldn't say failure, but you're not going to get the results that you deserve. You want to have great people, I assume. You're here now, or you're watching this. So let's talk about distribution. So once you write a Red Hot Help Wanted ad, you want to distribute it as widely as possible. Let's talk about a couple of different ways that you can distribute it. You can take that Red Hot Help Wanted ad in the format that I shared. If it's on an 8.5 by 11 format, you can shrink it and put 4 to a page or 2 to a page. And then it becomes a non-negotiable standard that every single person who comes to the counter and makes a purchase is given a copy of the Red Hot Help Wanted ad. You train your people to say, hey, we're looking for great people. This is a description of the job that we have. If you know somebody who might be a good fit, please pass it along. You can take that exact same format and get rid of the headline and make the headline always looking for great help and turn that into a poster that goes up in your store. You can send it out in an email to your customer base. In fact, you can send it a couple of times to your customers. You can also, of course, put it on all the job posting sites like Indeed. You can make it into a video that you post on your website. And then whenever you send an email, you can link them back. So, and this is where we have great success. Not only can you email your customer list, but you should always, and I'm saying you should, this is the trick of the trade, this will make a big difference. You can create a distribution list of your friends and families and colleagues. And every time you need somebody, you send a Red Hot Help Wanted ad. So let's just recognize this. Your friends want to help you out. And if you send an email to all of your friends saying, hey, I'm looking for somebody, take a look at this position. If you know someone who might be a good fit, please pass this along. Please forward it. Do you know that in our entire team, there's 7 of us in the office. Of course, we have people who help outside, but there's 7 of us in the office. And, you know, and 3, so I'm going to back up. There's me and Susan. There's our niece, Aubrey, who started with us as an intern. Everybody else except Indy, who is right here, came through friends and family emails. When Kay Rhodes, who is my assistant, she saw that Red Hot Help Wanted ad because we sent it to her. She is a friend. The email went out, and within 5 minutes, Susan was shouting at me, hey, guess who applied for the assistant's job? Kay Rhodes. And I just went, search over, because I knew Kay. Kay had worked for us before. I knew Kay. I knew she was perfect. Our events planner, Paige Tober, she emailed back within 10 minutes of sending it. Why? Because a good email, a good Red Hot Help Wanted ad, when somebody sees it and they go, hey, that's me. Wow. Boom. It works like a charm. So distribution is important. The final thing that I want to, let's show Patty's here, because I absolutely love this. Patty is in our Platinum Mastermind group. And so this is a Red Hot Help Wanted ad. The format has been changed a little bit. It's not the bullet points, but that's because it needed to go on Facebook. But here's what Patty did. She took the Red Hot Help Wanted ad and she focused on her avatar. You know, so who is her ideal employee? Remember, we went back to the characteristics. And then she went into Jasper, the artificial intelligence service, and said, I want 25 to 35-year-old people. I want to speak in their language. And so Patty was a professional copywriter. She owned an ad agency. So she is a wordsmith, but she's a little older than 25 to 35. But by asking AI, by asking Jasper to goose, for lack of a better term, her copy, all of a sudden, she got this really clever copy. And again, it attracted tons and tons of people. So if you want, when you request the Red Hot Help Wanted ad, we will send this along with you also. Patty was very generous with letting us share with this. So there's 2 more things that I want to talk about before I move on to interviewing. That's how to use a red hot help wanted ad. If you get your red hot help wanted ad tight, you make it good, all of a sudden, 75% of your recruiting problems will go away. And when you have it written and you have it dialed in, here's what happens. All of a sudden, you understand how to recruit. So if you need part-time seasonal help in October, you can start running the ads. If you're a seasonal store in a summer town, starting in May, you can start, or in April, you can start running the ads. You see, so it really is one of those structural pieces. Remember, mindset, skill set, structure is you build it once and you use it again and again and again. Yes, you'll make it a little better, you'll tweak it, but that red hot help wanted ad, when you write it correctly, the very first time will be the foundation for all of your ads for a long, 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 long time. And not only that, but once you learn how to write a red hot help wanted ad, then you know how to use the format to attract other positions. So let's say you want somebody to run you the e-commerce portion of your business. You just sit down and you take the same format and you write it for that position. If you need somebody who is going to be a back of the house manager, inventory receiving and things like that, do that. Social media manager. That's how we got Indy. We got Indy through a LinkedIn ad, but it was a red hot help wanted ad. And Indy, so Indy is there. That's why I'm looking this way. It was a good ad, wasn't it? I mean, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And Indy's a very skilled, accomplished person, and she's working for us now. We're very happy about it. So that's what I'm talking about. It is not writing a bad ad, putting it a few places and hoping you're going to get somebody. It is understanding that recruiting is a never-ending process, but it starts with your red hot help wanted ad. The other thing that I wanted to say before we move on to interviewing is that think of recruiting as a hat. And you want to always, and I do mean always, wear your recruiting hat, because you never know where your next great employee is, and you never know when they're going to be available. Let me tell you how I learned this lesson. So I learned this lesson in Mackinac City, Michigan, which is where I started my retail business, the Mackinac Kite Company. And next door to the Mackinac Kite Company was the world's only seasonal McDonald's. A dubious distinction at best. But every day, I mean, I was a young single guy and, McDonald's was right there. So every day I'd go to McDonald's to get my breakfast, sausage McMuffin with egg meal and coffee, right? And every day I would go into Glenda's line. Why? Because Glenda was unfailingly pleasant. We got to know each other. She was just a great person. And so one day I'm standing in line and somebody quit on a Thursday. I needed floor coverage on a Saturday. I'm all stressed out. I'm all annoyed. And I get to the front of the line. I'm right in front of Glenda. And just somehow the words just came out of my mouth. And I said, Glenda, will you come work for me? And you know how they stand behind the register there at McDonald's? She looked up. Bob, I thought you'd never ask. Glenda ended up working at the Mackinac Kite Company in Mackinac City for, I think, 15 years. She was always the best employee on the team. And she had been in front of me for all of those years. And until I learned to always wear my recruiting hat, that was one of the places I learned it. So another thing that we teach, by the way, if you really want to go deep, we have a product called the Retail Mastery System. There's 11 modules. One of them is staff development. We go deep into all of this. But one of the other recruiting strategies is to have a business card. And on the back side of the business card should be these words. I hope you're happy where you are. But if you're ever looking for a change of scenery, please contact me, right? And anytime if you go into a restaurant and you get great service, leave a good tip, leave this card. Patty, who is here, who I keep referencing, shared with me that she went into her local salon to get her hair done. And the person at the front counter was so enthusiastic and bubbly. And Patty said to her, "Wow, I love your enthusiasm. If you know anybody who has that same kind of enthusiasm, I would love it if you were to pass my card along." Guess what? That person came and applied with Patty. So all of a sudden, Patty, again, let's go back to the case study. And we're going to be doing this on Wednesday, WhizBang Training Facebook page. This idea of, you can be stressed out and blaming a lot of people. You can really be frustrated by the whole thing, or you can change your mindset, learn the skills, get really, really clear about what you're trying to do, write a great red hot help wanted ad, and it changes everything. It changes everything. So, Indy, do we have any questions so far?
Bobby, yeah, there was one question that came in. So where do you think the best place to advertise beyond an email to family and friends? You had mentioned Indeed and LinkedIn, but where else to be able to get that red hot?
Well, sure. Well, I mentioned several places, so you can make it a bag stuffer. You can make it a poster that you put in your store. There's Indeed, there's LinkedIn, there's Craigslist. There is not just friends and family and colleagues. It's also to your email list. I mean, one of our mastermind members has a hobby store, and he wrote a really good red hot help wanted ad, and he sent it out to his list, and he got his new store manager. Actually, this guy is a general manager to come work for him. This person, who is now one of Ryan's best employees, top team members, never really considered applying for this position until they saw the red hot help wanted ad. So think about it. Your customers, have the potential to be your best team members. So I also mentioned taking it, making a video of it, putting that video on your website. And, so yeah, they're just always, how can I get this out into the world? So it's a great question. Again, this isn't about investing in the retail mastery system, but if you're watching this and you do have the retail mastery system, there's a whole section on how to get the word out. What do you do with your red hot help wanted ad? So I hope that helped. Any other questions, Patrick?
That is it so far. Yep.
Okay, wonderful.
If you have a question, let's move. Type them in.
Okay, so let's move on. So remember, what is the essence of recruiting? Getting more people applying, getting better people applying. So now the second part of it, recruiting, is getting them applying. Hiring is the second stage of it, second part of it. We have 5 steps to a WhizBang staff. That's what we teach. Number 1 is find them. Number 2 is hire them. And so the real key here is interviewing skillfully. So I'm going to go back to my ignorance when I was coming up as a retailer. If somebody came in and they were dressed nicely, and they shook my hand firmly, and they looked me in the eye, they were hired. I didn't have the skills. I didn't know how to interview. So what would happen? They would sit down. I'd say, "Oh, tell me a little bit about yourself." I mean, it was just, I would hope that they could carry a conversation. And again, hope is not a hiring strategy. So let's talk about how you interview. So you interview skillfully by taking that same list of characteristics that I described earlier in the webinar, and you create open-ended questions around each of them. So when I was in the kite business, the number 1 characteristic we were looking for was fun. So a closed question would be, what do you do for fun? And if somebody said, well, I don't like to have fun, that's good. I know that they're not a good candidate. But if you say, or no, no, a closed question would be, do you like to have fun? And they said no. But if you ask an open-ended question, and the question that we asked is, what do you like to do for fun? And if the candidate says, I don't like to have fun, duh, that's not, not a good fit. Or if it was the dude, I love playing Super Mario's. I play 10 hours a day. Again, our merchandising philosophy at the Mackinac Kite Company was colorful, quality, hands-on fun. And nothing against gamers at all, but that wasn't a good fit. So the interview process is about getting, again, separating the great candidates from the mediocre candidates. So what do you like to do for fun? One of our best employees ever said, Bob, I love to juggle. I started a juggling club in my school. Yeah, that's fun. We sell skill toys. Self-starter is one of the other characteristics we had. And Jackie went on to be one of our best employees. So what we're trying to do is take that list of characteristics, creating an open-ended question around each of the characteristics, and then, put it in a form, ask the same questions in the same order every single time. This will dramatically increase the quality of the person that you hire. And then after that, because really what you're trying to do is you're trying to get what I call good chicken. Let me back up just a little bit here. So in our family, we love to cook. And, if you watch a cooking show, especially if you watch the cooking shows with the really good chefs, what do? They go to the market and they put their nose to the mushrooms right there. They're really, really looking for the best. And so when we were teaching our boys how to cook, we were trying to stress upon them the importance of quality ingredients. And so the family, I don't know if it's a joke, it's not really a joke, but the saying in our family is, how do you make good chicken? And the answer is good chicken. And recently at the Retail Success Summit, which I'm going to tell you about in just a minute here, the boys both worked at the Retail Success Summit for us. And we were talking about that. And I said, Joe and Sam, where are you? And they both waved. And I said, so what's the secret to good chicken? They both at the same time went, good chicken, right? Good chicken. So when you're interviewing people, remember, you're looking for good chicken. You need good chicken to make a good team member. So now, from now on, when you're sitting across from somebody and you're interviewing them, ask yourself, is this person good chicken? And if they're not a good fit. Just like bad chicken can't make you an excellent chicken dish, a bad person or a bad fit is not going to be a great employee. And, so then once you have that person, there's a whole nother set of things that need to happen. They need to be onboarded correctly. They need to be trained properly so that they know what to do when they're on the floor. You as a leader and a manager need to really create the kind of culture where your team members can thrive. You need to make them feel wanted and needed and empowered. But that is, that's time that, that's for a different webinar. Today, what we wanted to talk about was the first part of it, because to Patrick's comment in the beginning, this is such a pain point right now, but it shouldn't be a pain point. I don't know if Patty's been chiming in the whole time, but Patty is, sort of our poster child for somebody who, was really, really frustrated that they couldn't find good people. And all of a sudden, but by changing her mindset, building the skill set, creating the red hot help wanted ad, and, doing, constantly recruiting, now she's got a team full of great people. So I guess what I'm looking at all of you and sharing with you is that if you're frustrated right now, let's go back to that mindset piece. It just means that you have a skill that needs to be developed. Doesn't mean that, it certainly doesn't mean that there's no good people out there, because there are. They haven't just come to work for you yet. It just means that you have to develop a new set of skills, the skill of recruiting and the skill of interviewing. And once you develop those skills, you'll have those skills for the rest of your retail life. And the problem will go away. You're going to have to, you're going to have to dust off your red hot help wanted ad on occasion, of course. You're going to have to interview people regularly, of course, but you're not coming at it from a place of frustration. You're coming at it from a place of calm competence. Calm competence is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, yeah, that is, do we have any other questions there, Patrick?
So no other questions right now. If you do, we'll open up for a Q&A session. So type in your questions. Patty did affirm that she has found quality applicants and people that really wanted to work that job, and we're excited about the potential, which is exactly what you want. Those are going to be your long-lasting employees. Those are going to be people that really add to your culture that you've created within your store, which is so, so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, hey, Patrick, do you mind if I talk about the Retail Success Summit here?
I was going to say, while people are typing in questions, let people know about your upcoming events that you have.
Sure. So, mindset, skill set, and structure. That's what it's all about. So if you are not excited about where you are in your business, if you're feeling a little tired or burned out, if you feel like you've got a great business, but you just need something to get you to the next level, really want to encourage you to come to Grand Rapids, June 12 and 13 for our Retail Success Summit. The Retail Success Summit is the world's most comprehensive training event for independent retailers, right? So, and it's not pet, it's not strictly boutique. This is every industry. You can't even imagine how many different industries come, but imagine being in the room with 400 to 500 excited, inspired Main Street merchants like you who are ready to grow their business, who are ready to increase their impact in the world. I mean, it's just, the energy is just amazing. So if you are either in that, I just need a boost mode, or if you're in, I'm really rocking and I'm ready to take it to another level mode, I would encourage you to get yourself to Grand Rapids, June 12 and 13. And the theme for this year's Retail Success Summit is Mighty on Main Street. So I'm really excited about that being here on Heart of Main Street. And the reason we chose that theme is because we believe that there has never been a better time to be an independent retailer, that you as Main Street merchants, and Main Street doesn't necessarily need to be a street. If you're an independent brick and mortar retailer in a strip mall, or if you're an independent retailer with a standalone store, I consider you a Main Street merchant. So we have such an opportunity right now, and we have such impact on the world, and we're just really excited about the impact that you have. And, the education, the inspiration, all of the things that you're going to learn are just amazing. Now, there's two extra things that I want to share with you. Is one, because you're here with Heart of Main Street, you can save $500. So if you go to retailsuccesssummit.com, there you go, Indy, thank you very much, and use that Heart on Main, you will save $500. So that's, normally it's $997 for you. It's only $497. You can bring additional people for only $297. There's one other thing, because there's always a skeptic, right? Oh my gosh, I got to travel all the way from Chicago. From California, things like that. We have people come from all over the world. That's neither here nor there. But if at the end of day one, the 2-day event, at the end of day one, if you're not going, wow, I am so glad I am here. I am so excited about what I'm learning. I know that I'm going to make tens of thousands of dollars with the information I'm learning here. You come see us and we'll give you all your money back plus $500. So we've taken all of the risk away from you. We just want you to be there. We want to help you be more successful, build better businesses, have a better life, help your community in a more meaningful way. So thank you for giving me that opportunity there, Patrick.
No, and thank you for providing that opportunity for our retailers here and those that are watching. And that is an amazing thing. Thank you so much. The Retail
You're welcome.
Success Summit is going to be fantastic. I'm excited that Heart on Main Street is going to be a part. So yeah, I'm very, very much looking forward to that in June.
Great. So no other questions, I take it?
No other questions have come in, so you must have answered everybody's.
I was just going to say, usually that means I've done a great job of explaining it. But truly, I'm here. And let me say, can I say one thing in sort of conclusion?
Please.
This is important, really, really important. Right now, as an independent retailer, everything you need to become everything you want is available to you right now. There are resources like Heart on Main Street. I know Christo Vokaitis was one of the people who was at the last webinar. Here at WhizBang Retail Training, our retail mastery system is, comprehensive training, the Retail Success Summit. So if your business isn't everything you want it to be right now, don't be furious. Get curious. Just recognize that it's all right there for you. All you have to do is make that commitment to learn and grow and do great things, and everything's going to happen for you. I'm excited for you. You go get them.
There are resources out there. There are a lot of people that are wanting to see the success of you in your retail store. So
that's right.
I love
Absolutely.
that. Don't be furious. Get curious. Find out more that's out there. That's such an amazing line. So thank you.
Great. You're welcome.
As we end today, Bob, thank you so much. And this was so
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
This was incredible. I hope everyone that's watching was able to get so much out of this and learn. The Red Hot Help Wanted ad is such a great way to get eyes on your business, to get eyes to the positions that you need, find great quality people to fill those positions for you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
A quick plug as we end today for our next webinar. We are going to be having one May 24th. So it's a Wednesday at the end of May. We'll be talking about getting ready for show season because that is coming up right around the corner. So all of the things that you should be doing in preparation and what you should be doing while at your trade shows that you're going to. So you can find out and register for that at heartonmainstreet.org/education. Thank you so much for donating your time and being here. Bob, thank you for joining. Retailers that are out there watching, thank you for being here. Final note, we would love your feedback. We are always working to get better, to provide content that you need, pertinent things that will help you grow your business and help you be more successful. So if you have ideas of what you would like and how you would like to, information that you would like to learn, please reach out to us, contact@heartonmainstreet.org, and we will work to get those added into our education schedule. So thank you all very much for joining. Bob, especially thank you for being here today.
I'm honored. Thank you.
And everyone, have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.
All right. See you later, everybody.
Take care, everybody.